Okay, now in the second part we're gonna be talking about two topics. So the first one will be covering PvP, right? There are three PvP modes as you can see in here, right? It will be the regular arena. The middle one is a pretty cool mode where you have to fight the top players of the week. I will cover this one last. And the last one is the team arena, where you're essentially, it's pretty similar to the regular arena, but you are fighting 3 teams versus 3 teams, right? And the second thing I want to cover is, I will cover this throughout the video, is basically team building, right? How you build teams, what sort of bonuses you can make use of so that you are able to achieve the best possible team for you. Okay, so let's start with the regular arena. Now, I do want to mention that whenever you download the game, I believe all of these will still be locked for you, and the first one to unlock will be the regular arena, while the other two will unlock later on. I do not recall the exact amount of story you have to go through in order to unlock them, but I believe both of the second and the third one unlock like at the same time, and my guess, like shot in the dark, it's somewhere like Act 12 or something like that when they unlock, right? But yeah, when it comes to PvP, there are 3 modes in total. I'm talking about direct PvP, where you are finding another player and not just like leaderboard scores or whatever. So, whenever you enter Arena, this is what you're gonna be seeing. Pretty much the same thing for both regular Arena and Team Arena, right? So, first things first, as time goes on, this right here is the tokens that you get I believe every 20 minutes or so, or something like that. Basically, both of the regular arena and the team arena will eventually generate tokens right here, and you do want to claim them for regular arena at least once a day, and if you do not want to be capped in the team arena, you will want to claim it somewhere like twice a day, because those generate much faster, right? I'm not gonna be showcasing the shop for it, right? We'll leave that to another day. Today we're mostly gonna, yeah, as I said, today we're mostly gonna be focusing on the modes and the fighting itself. So, first of all, the arena is basically a PvP mode where you set 5 of your units and you fight against 5 of the enemy units that you can see on the screen. You can see their teams. It is not live PvP, right? You are fighting an AI controlled team, and you have 2 options. You can fight it manually by pressing the orange button, or you can do a quick battle by pressing the button below it, right? So I'm gonna showcase for the first one a manual fight, right? Since I do want to explain the mechanics. Even here you can still select like auto fight or manual fight, right? The orange one will be a manual fight, and the gray button just above it will be a quick fight. So you can see some power numbers at the top. Do not trust these blindly, right? Sometimes you are able to win with a way weaker team. Sometimes you will lose with a much stronger team. This mostly applies for the 3v3 mode, for example, where I constantly lose quick battles with a 900,000 power team against a 200,000 power team. So yeah, more on that later on. But yeah, basically once you are here, you can see the placement of the enemy team. So you can check what each unit does. Now this is in Korean, so I'm not gonna cover it too much, right? But you can check all of the skills, all of the upgrades for those skills. So all of the details are visible, even their stats like HP, attack, all of that, right? And you can see yourself. So how regular fights work in here and how fights work in general is there is a 3x3 square where you are able to place your characters, right? So you can place this freely in any spot. There are no restrictions as to how many units or whatever like that, right? The maximum you can place in majority of the content is 5 units. There is certain modes where you can place like 9 or whatever, right? So, but in most of the cases, like 99% of all content, you will be able to place 5 units, right? And Basically, first of all, when it comes to choosing your units, these will depend on the team. However, in most cases, again from my experience, you will want to have like your main team, maybe like 1 or 2 units that you swap around with as time goes on, but most of the time you build 5 units and you're gonna be using for a lot of the content, right? So here we go, I've chosen the 5 units that I usually use, right? And what you can do now is do some placement around with them, right? For me, this is the placement I usually go with. It is by no means like the best or the optimal placement. This is just what I came up with, right? And yeah, it just works for me. So once you have selected all of the units, right, there are 3 more options you see in here. And another thing you want to be paying attention is just below the power number, you see this little whatever icon called with the 5 little circles, right? This showcases the bonuses you get in the fight, right? And these bonuses are based on the elements that you use. So right now, as you can see, I have a bonus of 3 circles, which means I get 50%. I don't quite recall it, but I think it's 15% more damage and 15% less damage taken. However, don't quote me on that. It's been quite a while since I translated it, right? And there are 4 different tiers of it, so you can combine. These are basically based on the elements that you combine. So the 3 circles means that there are 3 units with matching elements. The second one is 3 units with matching elements, and then 2 units with 2 other matching elements. There is the 4 matching elements and 5 matching elements, and based on how many you combine, you will get a higher bonus, right? Now there's also light and dark elements, which give you a special bonus, and light and dark units are very OP when it comes to this specific like upgrade system. So each light unit that you have in your team will increase energy generation rate, which is basically like ultimate gauge increase, and the dark units will decrease the enemy energy generation rate, right? So as you can see, the bonuses, as you use more units, they increase very like for a small percentage. However, having at least one of each will be a very massive booster to your team. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good light unit for myself to use. I do have all of the units in the game. However, I'm just not a fan of the light units that are available. Eventually I'll try to fit them in my team, but for now, not a big fan. So yeah, that's how it works. And one thing I forgot to mention is if you look at the elements, you can see the elements just below the first arrow. So for example, this is, I'm not even sure of the exact names, but let's call it by the color. This is the pink element, this is the green element, and the blue element. Right now this is the light one. And when I mentioned that there's 3 matching elements, you will notice that there are not actually 3 matching elements. The most I have right now is 2 green elements, and the reason for that is light and dark units count for whichever element you need, which means that if I do have a dark unit in my team, it combines with the 2 green elements and it gives me the 3 bonus. So as you can see, if I take out the dark unit, I instantly use the bonus, and if I put another green unit in here, it would give me the bonus again. Now, if let's say I took out another unit and placed a dark unit, I have a 4 bonus. That's because again, the dark and light units count for any element that you need, which is very OP in that case. However, I wouldn't say you shouldn't put too much focus on this. The main thing you want to do is have at least 3 elements, right? So that you can get at least like the minimum bonus. It gets really hard to reach this because as you, let's say you place 5 different elements, it might perform really well in one stage, but you might get element disadvantage in another stage. So try to get at least the first level, and if possible, try to get a light and a dark unit in your team. Now, next up, we have this menu. So this one showcases several bonuses based on the placement. So first of all, there are standard available bonuses in here, and then there's event bonuses, which basically, these are like the boost. This is probably the main thing that you can control manually, right? So for this one, it will boost stuff based on placement as well as based on type. So for example, this one, it will give a specific boost. Again, I can't completely recall what the boosts are since all Korean, and it's been a while since I replaced, what do you call it, translated them. But essentially, the first boost will boost all of the units that are in those highlighted yellow slots, and the second will boost a specific type. So for example, this one, the one that I have selected, will do something with EP. I think it's like energy generation rate increase, and it will apply to all support units. As you can see, there's also unit type. So this is like the defenders, attackers, this is supports, this is rangers or archers or whatever you want to call it, right? There's 4 types in this game, and it will boost all units of that type. So for example, I currently have 2 supports. These are both in the backline for me, and it will boost those for both the boost that you get from the yellow circles because they are placed in those, as well as the support, right? My favorite one with this team is this, because all 3 of the middle units are my main DPS / tanks, right? Like there's somewhat bruiser-ish, and all 3 of them are knight type units, so they get the biggest boost. Supports are usually not the ones that are fighting in the front line or dying, so I really don't care too much about those. But yeah, and the second thing is the boost that you get for like in the fight. So as time goes on, you will get a charge. I will showcase in just a minute. You will get a charge, and you can select a single unit or like an area on the map where you want to deploy the specific boost. I usually leave it on order, right? But you can use this to control the fight a bit more, and you can choose from one of the 5 options here, or one of the limited options, because these do cycle as time goes on. These are like event bonuses. You can choose one of those to help you in the fight, right? But yeah, next up we have the skill modifications, right? So in the previous video, if you haven't watched that one, make sure to check it out. I showcased how the ultimate skills work, and this one is basically the part where it allows you to choose which skill you want to use, which ultimate skill you want to use. And the options are between the regular awaken skill or the blossom skill that you unlock once you have a specific plugin on your unit installed, right? So again, not all blossom skills are better. These are completely different skills, not always an upgrade to a regular skill. So you will want to modify based on the situation you want. I usually run with the following setup. I use the last 2 characters. I found that the awaken skill is a bit better, and for the top 3 I found that the blossom skill is a little better. And in the second window, this is the bonuses you get from the academy, right? So each academy training session will have 2 slots. There's the first slot and there's the second slot, right? And you can modify 2 different like builds. For example, if you want one unit to be more of a tanky build, and the second one you want to have more of a DPS build, you can set it up like that. For example, have your first slot be as a DPS build and use that one, or you can see all the bonuses here. Or if you, let's say you want a more tanky build, you can go make a second set and have it more of a like tanky build, so you can survive those nukes, for example, or all of that, right? So yeah, you modify it based on those. I'm gonna talk about that a bit further. I did cover it a bit in the previous video towards the end if you want to check that out, right? And now the last thing is the placement. So this is essentially where you can just make a preset, right? Like for example, if I want to make a preset of the current team, I use an empty slot, it will select all of the units in there, and as you can see, very similar to the one in the first slot, it will create a preset for the team placement, the bonuses, the upgrades, the awaken blossom skills, everything as you selected, so you can easily just use it, and then whenever you can click the orange button and it will use it up. Now let me showcase the fight itself, right? So Currently I have everything set on auto, however I will switch it off for the time being, right, just to showcase how it works. So usually it doesn't load like this long, don't worry. It's most of the times like a few seconds. I don't know why it's long so long this time. But yeah, I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove the auto mode. Or, oh, I guess you cannot remove auto mode in arena. So yeah, we're gonna have to showcase that in a different mode. But yeah, you can see that once you charge the skills, like once your ultimate bar is full, your icons of your characters will light up and you can use the ultimate skills, whichever you have chosen, whether it's Awaken or Blossom, and it will use that ability, right? And yeah, the fight is whoever stands last will be the winner in the regular arena, right? Now I will showcase you how quick battles work. So what you can see here is basically the team as well as the power. If you want to do quick battle, I recommend quick battling at least against a person whose power is like, I don't know, maybe like 25% or more lower than yours. Otherwise the fight will be very RNG, and if you do want to win and your power is somewhat similar, I would recommend you to go into a manual fight. But yeah, you can do a quick fight as well, especially when you quickly want to get rid of the dailies. You just wait a bit and it will give you either a victory or a loss. Do not worry, a loss still gives you 80 tokens, so you're not missing out on much. Now I'm gonna showcase you the team fight, very similar. Again, make sure to don't forget to claim these tokens right here, because these ones fill up very fast. And yeah, similar concept to this. Whenever you click on an opponent, you can see all three of their teams, and you can see all three of your teams by just switching right here. I do want to mention that my teams are not really built well, but yeah, I'm gonna try to quick battle against this one. You can see that the team power of my units is 929k, and I'm gonna fight against the 244k. I don't know, we'll see if we win, but from my experience I have lost quite a bit in this way, and I don't know why. Yeah, thankfully I won this one, so you can see that teams 1 and 3 have won the fight, and whoever reaches 2 wins first will be the winner. I'm gonna go into a fight as well just to showcase how it works. Now I do want to mention that I pretty much have like 6 or 7 units built, right? So I'm really not good in this mode. But let's say I'm gonna place my main unkillable team in slot 1. Well, I guess we can substitute her for that. Then you place a second team. For this one we can do whatever, because again I don't have a team built, unfortunately. So we're just gonna give you any bonus that I find. Sure, that works. Let's do the third one. We're gonna pop you in. We're gonna give you a bonus as well. Let's do that one. And yeah, let's begin the fight. We'll see. I'm not putting too much hope. As you can see, I don't have any bonuses to that. We get a little bit of anime, or not anime, manga, I mean, in between the fights. I usually don't see this because I'm not a big fan of the 3v3 mode, I'm not gonna lie. I mostly enjoy the 1v1 mode or the middle mode where you are fighting the top players of the week, which I will showcase you that one. And yeah, I think we are gonna be winning this fight. I'm really not too scared about losing this. The main problem is probably gonna be the second and the third fight. But yeah, this one, pretty much a wipe, easy peasy. Unfortunately, that's not the case in quick battles. I do want to mention that if possible, avoid using quick battles for this mode. I found that it loses a lot of quick battles, even if your power is like 3 times higher than the opponent. I have absolutely no clue why, but yeah, that just happens. So if you are able and you have the time, make sure to manual the 3v3 mode. But yeah, we're just gonna leave the fight. It looks like we are gonna be winning this one as well. And in this case, I believe the third fight might not even play. Yeah, because it's first to 2 wins, so I got 2 wins, done, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how this mode works. And now let's move forward to, in my opinion, the best mode, not only in PvP, but honestly in this game overall, right? and that is this one, right? So how this works is essentially you have 10 opponents in here every week, right? It resets on Sunday night, and essentially you have several rewards. I'll showcase rewards here. For each round you will get a little bit of rewards, and you will get bigger rewards on round 5 and 10. And how this works is there is an opponent that has ranked top 10 last week in your server, right? And it will match you against their team that they have used on defense. If you do win against this, you will be able to fight against the rank 9, then rank 8, rank 7, rank 6, and so on until you reach the very top, right? Now do not worry, the levels of the opponents are adjusted to you, so you can see that, for example, this person probably has like level 260 units or whatever, but because my units are 170 to 180, the opponent's units are 185 as well. The problem is you will see a lot of very similar teams in here because, I mean, if there's current meta, majority of the people will be following that meta. But I'm gonna use my regular team that I use for majority of the fights. My prediction is that my backline will die because there is an assassin that will quite literally just jump into the backline and assassinate everyone there. But I am preying on my 3 units in the middle row on carrying out the fight. Yeah, so one of my knights already dead, another one already dead. However, this one, the middle one, is very strong, so I think she could carry. She kills one, she kills the other one. My supports are getting targeted by the assassin, but again, like this red-haired knight, I believe her name is Frederica or whatever, I think she can carry. I think she can definitely carry the fight alone. There's still 4 enemy units alive, but we'll see. I would love her to use her skills already. I don't know why she's not using them. There we go, she one-shot that one. She has crazy one potential, by the way. It's actually insane. Though the problem is the enemy does have a lot of defensive like shields or whatever. So there we go, one-shot that one, and 1 unit left, but there's only 40 seconds left at the top as well, as you can see. So I'm not sure if I'll have enough time to kill it, especially since the last unit does self-heal. We'll see. And by the way, the energy one, as you can see, this is the one. Usually I leave it on order because it's smart enough to target the correct unit in my experience at least. And yeah, I managed to win, 10 seconds left. Breathtaking fight, and as you can see, you get these awards and then you move to round 2, right? And if I exit to the lobby, you'll see that now I am matched against a person who is rank 9, right? And I don't quite recall if you can check the full list. I think it shows you at the end or something like that. But yeah, now you're gonna be fighting against a person who placed rank 9 in your server, and you can see all of these people on the leaderboards, right? And yeah, again, teams are very similar. Like, I believe this unit was the same, this unit was the same. This unit, this is the assassin, I believe, also very, very similar units in this mode, at least because there is like a certain meta already in this game. But yeah, this is how basically the combat works. This is how the PvP works. In my opinion, the regular like team arena and a regular PvP arena are quite like bland, right? Especially because there's very few units that are like amazing in PvP, and a lot of other units are quite, I don't know, like very, very situational. However, the PvP mode with fighting the top 10 people of the server is very fun in my opinion, yeah? But yeah, that's about it when it comes to this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.